sometimes, real life delivers stories so extraordinary they feel like fairy tales, and The Senior is one of those rare gems. Directed by Rod Lurie, a filmmaker known for his gritty, intense dramas, this film takes a surprising turn into the realm of heartfelt, faith-infused sports storytelling. Lurie's past work includes hard-hitting political dramas like Nothing But the Truth and The Contender, a dark remake of Straw Dogs, and the deeply authentic war film The Outpost 2019, which drew heavily on his own combat experience. So, seeing him helm a warm, uplifting football movie might catch you off guard. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite its seemingly formulaic approach, The Senior manages to strike a genuine emotional chord. The movie is based on the true story of Mike Flynt, who, at the remarkable age of 59, rejoined his college football team at West Texas State University in 2007. It's a story that sounds almost too good to be true, a real-life sports fairy tale, and the film embraces this with a straightforward, crowd-pleasing style. While it follows a familiar, almost paint-by-numbers formula filled with heartfelt life lessons and football metaphors, it still succeeds in delivering an effective and touching narrative. Michael Chiklis stars as Mike Flynt, bringing a blend of toughness and warmth to the role. He looks a bit like what Joe Rogan might look like a decade from now, bald, broad-shouldered, and rugged. And he plays Flynt with the kind of gruff affection that makes you root for him, even when the film leans heavily into emotional manipulation, a hallmark of Angel Studios productions. The story earns its emotional moments honestly, balancing the physical challenges on the field with the personal struggles off it. One of the coaches even compares Mike to a 59-year-old Rudy, referencing the beloved underdog football movie Rudy, which perfectly captures the spirit of this film. In fact, The Senior feels more authentic and compelling than many fictional sports movies, precisely because it's grounded in reality. Growing up, I was captivated by Instant Replay, The Green Bay Diary of Jerry Kramer, a book that offered an inside look at the brutal discipline of Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers during their 1967 season. Jerry Kramer, the team's right guard, detailed the punishing physical and mental demands of playing under Lombardi, who ran training camp with the intensity of a drill sergeant, or, as Kramer described it, almost like a prison guard at Abu Ghraib. What struck me most was the blend of pain and faith that permeated the team. Despite the grueling physical toll, the players shared a deep reverence and prayed before every game, seeing their suffering and Lombardi's relentless coaching as part of a higher purpose. The Senior taps into that same intersection of physical endurance and spiritual redemption. The first half hour sets up Mike Flynt's backstory, which might seem unbelievable if it weren't true. The film flashes back to 1970, when a young Mike, played by Sean Patrick Clifford, was the middle linebacker and captain of the Lobos, the varsity football team at Sul Ross State University. He was a natural leader, but had a serious flaw, a tendency to get into fights. This aggressive streak ultimately led to his expulsion from school. Fast forward 37 years. Mike, now portrayed by Chiklis with a mix of gruffness and heart, works as a construction foreman. He's been married for decades to Eileen, played by Mary Stuart Masterson, and has several grown children. Life is stable but complicated. Mike is haunted by memories of his abusive father, who taught him to fight by calling him a little runt and physically punishing him. Flashbacks that add emotional depth to Mike's character. His relationship with his son Micah, Brandon Flynn, a college instructor, is strained. Mike often comes across less as a supportive dad and more as a pushy, self-centered parent trying to steer his son toward a jock's path. The catalyst for the story is a 35-year college reunion where Mike reconnects with his old teammates. Out of this gathering comes the wild idea that Mike could rejoin the football team because he never completed his senior year. The film glosses over the practical details, like whether he'd have to re-enroll in college, and jumps straight to the coach, Sam Weston, Rob Corddry, who initially treats Mike's tryout as a joke. But Mike's determination is about more than just football. It's a metaphor for reclaiming lost time and healing old wounds. The Senior is a classic, wholesome sports movie filled with familiar elements, training montages, locker room pep talks, and the camaraderie of a diverse team. Mike, who listens to the Rubber Band Man by the Spinners on his headset, faces a new generation of players, a multiracial group of tough athletes and amateur rappers, who affectionately nickname him Fred Flintstone and Pops. While the real Mike Flynt has a distinct Texas drawl that Chiklis doesn't quite capture, the actor portrays him as a prickly but earnest underdog you can't help but cheer for. Mike earns a spot on the team, though not as a starter. Once the season kicks off, the tension shifts to whether he'll actually get to play in a game, or if concerns about his age and safety will keep him sidelined. And here's a question worth debating. If the coach was so worried about Mike's health, why let him join the team at all? Mary Stuart Masterson shines as Eileen, the supportive wife who stands by Mike, even as she recognizes that his football comeback is a form of personal therapy. Chiklis delivers a physically convincing performance, embodying an aging but still formidable athlete. He's especially compelling during the halftime locker room speeches, where he channels the classic inspirational coach archetype with passion and grit. A poignant moment comes when Mike discovers that his harsh father kept a scrapbook filled with his sports clippings, alongside a Bible inscribed with the words, "Lord, give me the strength to forgive others, and myself." This detail adds a layer of complexity to the story. Is this a sign of genuine faith, or something more complicated? It's a subtle reminder that Angel Studios films often weave in religious themes, and The Senior is no exception. Since the days of Jerry Kramer, football and faith have been intertwined in American culture, and this movie embraces that tradition wholeheartedly. So what do you think? Is The Senior just another feel-good sports movie? Or does its true-life foundation and blend of faith and grit give it a unique edge? Does the film's straightforward, almost sentimental approach do justice to Mike Flynt's remarkable story? Or does it oversimplify the complexities of aging, family, and redemption? Share your thoughts. Do you believe a 59-year-old can truly compete on a college football field? Or is this just a heartwarming fantasy? Let's get the conversation going.